Don't know why it decided to just do that. There you go. Does what it wants, mate. It's Restream, does what it wants. Yeah, I just know. It's still there. Ukrainian flag. Still there. This war could go on for a very long time, you know. Like, when are you gonna get rid of that? After the nuclear bombs dropped. Let's not even go into that. Let's not even. I was done with it a long time ago anyway. Welcome. We are live and direct on YouTube and Twitch. But just YouTube and Twitch. Okay. Because you can only do 2 at a time now. With Restream, unless you pay. I'm not paying you any money. You're not getting money out of me. I will not pay until I get paid. So that's where I stand on that. You're probably looking at the time thinking, oh, this is quite early for you. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I just decided to do it today, didn't I? What of it? Got a problem with it? I don't think so. It's one of those days, Tuesdays. The missus has gone back to work today. She took 3 days off. We were hanging out. We went and ate a massive barbecue buffet. I ate 3 whole crabs, and like, this place is all right. It's huge, but the meat was not good quality. The meat wasn't good. I was like, how are they making money out of this place? And then the meat, I was like, oh, the meat's not so good. The beef was all right, but like some of the pork, like the pork belly was just so much more fat than it was meat. It was just like, rah. You know, that's all I could say. I was like, rah. Endless drinks, bottomless drinks, but the cups were really small, so you kept having to go back. That annoyed me too. But she loves it. I don't think it's the best place in town. There's so many more. So many of these barbecue places I haven't been to have opened up, or I just haven't seen before. So many. Oh, the world of opportunity is there, man. Don't just have to go there. So, you know, keep exploring. I'd eat barbecue every day. I would. I just have 1 meal a day, just a barbecue. I'd spend 2 hours eating, sleep, and then and I got blazed up all weekend. I've been smoking the 2 strains. I got 2 strains. One's just pure CBD. The other one's pure lunacy. And I smoked them both at the same time at one point, and that was interesting. But love it. Loving it. Oh, I'm loving it. Loving it. It's good. Life is good. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. So, you know, we were hanging out and discovered that on the TV in this condo, they had Netflix, right? And it works. And she used her brother's login, and we logged in. And what does she do? You know, usually when she's putting the TV on and there isn't access to streaming services, you know, it's just Thai nonsense, as these soap operas or Korean soap operas dubbed into Thai, basically. But I'm always watching this stuff, never understanding what the hell's going on, trying to work things out, going, what is going on here? Because usually it's just sort of screaming and crying at lunacy, and you're like, what is this about? What's she doing? What's going on? But this time, you know, we got Thai Netflix, right, with subtitles, so she could read the subtitles and I could hear the English. I was like, that's a win-win. But of course, she chose what to watch. She watched the Dahmer thing, and she started. This is why she took 2 days off work. I kid you not. And usually she's going to take the Sunday off. All right. Like, her work is flexible. Let's just put it that way. But let's not get into it. Why it's flexible. It just, you know, she took it off so she could binge watch. She took 2 days off so she could binge watch. I knew what was going down, and she didn't want to go out. And I was like, "Right, we got to go outside, man." She brought a bikini over. We were going to go in the pool in the hot tub. No, I did it alone because she was glued to this thing. The TV's over there. She was glued to this thing. Now I did watch the Dahmer thing. All of them, not one. All of them on Sunday. We finished at 3 in the morning. And she was like, "What time is it?" I was like, "It's 3 a.m. We started in the afternoon." We got through 2. Then we went to the barbecue place. And we popped out to hers to get because she had a delivery, some clothes. She wanted to put them on. She wanted to put the clothes on just to come back and sit in front of the TV. I watched the whole thing. Binged it. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that to happen, but it did. So I was like, well, I'm going to have to talk about it, aren't I? I can't just have spent 10 hours of my time and not get something out of it. Because would I say maybe a more insightful person? No. Did it entertain me? I suppose, but like, where, I was just drinking, getting high, and none of that helped. What are my thoughts on it? Well, the first thing that comes to mind about Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer. I mean, I understand there's a lot of poetic license going on in this thing because I brushed up whilst watching it on what actually happened, and yeah, there's a lot in there that didn't. It's just for dramatic effect, but what I will, my biggest takeaway from Dahmer is, we all do stupid shit when we drink too much. Oh, that's it. That's what I gathered from it. It's like, yeah, he had a drinking problem, and when you drink too much, you do some stupid things. So he was very relatable in that regard. What a relatable guy. Because he was always drinking. Like the man's always drinking when he's doing his things. Even his first murder, which was an accident, he's drinking. In fact, he's smoking weed, doing weights, topless, and drinking beers with some hitchhiker, and then he clobbers him to death. I was like, this guy, he loves drinking and killing. And I know there was a bit of controversy over it, because one of the tags on Netflix was LGBT, but it's like, well, it is though, isn't it? It is an LGBTQ. I can't. Can we just stick with LGBT? It's LGBT. That's 4 letters. That's enough. That's enough for me to say, for you to understand. But was this gay? It was very gay. Like, there's loads of gay stuff in it. So I don't know why, we can't have negative gay stuff. It's like, bro, come on, you can't pick and choose everything. It was gay. There's a lot of gay stuff going on in this limited series. A lot of gay stuff. It is exploitative. It is trashy. That's what I say about it. It's trashy. But I don't think it knows it's trashy, which is a problem. Like, if you look at, so they got American Crime Story. They did 3 series so far. First one's about O.J. Simpson. Second one was about the killing of Versace, and the third one was about the impeachment of Bill Clinton. Watchable, trashy. It's like informative, also kind of trashy, and it kind of knew it was. It's sort of. I'm sure it knows it's a bit trashy. Do you know what I mean? Something like Ugly Betty is a good example. Ugly Betty was just trash, but it knew it was. It knew it was. This was bubblegum gloop, overly camp nonsense. That's what it was, and it knew it was. Fine. Nip Tuck, that was a bit trashy too. It knew it was trashy. These kind of things. Some things know they're trashy. This show doesn't know it's trashy. It's very darkly shot. Cinematography is incredibly dark. It's incredibly moody. and unintentionally funny because, you know, the guy who plays Jeffrey Dahmer, his delivery is because I mean, it was a fair. I haven't really heard Jeffrey Dahmer talk in his interviews or anything, so but it was fine. His performance was fine, but there were so many moments when he's like making up stories to the police because he's been up to something to get out of trouble, and he's like, "Oh, some gay stuff. Like, what you been doing with this?" Like at one point, he's drugged up a 14-year-old Lao boy, and he's like, "What you been doing?" He's like, "Oh, we're doing some gay stuff." And they're like, "Oh, gay stuff? Oh my god, no. Oh, say no more. You've been doing some gay stuff? Well, we don't want to know about that. We will not investigate this any further because we understand gay stuff is weird." Like, it was just, yeah, some gay picture. I got some gay pictures. We were doing some gay things. And like, just keep saying stuff. Yes, some gay stuff. And then the police come in his house and they're like, "Is there anything in here that's real gay that might give us gay? You know, is there anything that, you know, like when they search you and say, 'Do you have any sharp objects on you, sir? I don't want to stab myself.'" And you're like, "Yes or no." It was like that. "Do you have any gay objects in here that might gay us up?" And he's like, "No." And it was just the way to, "Oh, it's just some gay, we're doing some gay stuff." I mean, it's hilarious. Like, and then, you know, just needlessly showing stuff. You don't need to show. Like, it's just full of these moments. It doesn't really. It does sort of show you how he becomes who he is, and he never liked people leaving him, is what I gathered. "Oh, please don't go," and then he'd kill them so they could be with him forever. But then he gets into building an occult altar with skulls and the drinking of blood and eating people's body parts and the necrophilia. I don't think it quite shows how he goes. You know, it does show the progress of him starting to do stuff, but it's just, you know, there's just one bit when he's working in some clinic and he brings home a bag of blood and he just goes, "Oh," and just drinks it. And you're like, okay, right, he's drinking blood now. You know, doesn't show him sort of, there's no build up to him being sort of curious about blood, unless I missed it. You know, going, blood, just, you know, eating a bit of black pudding, going, "Well, black pudding's nice, so this must be nice." You know, that doesn't happen. It just sort of happens. It doesn't really show you the progression of why and how it goes from him, you know, his mother abandoning him and him clobbering a hitchhiker over the head because he wants to leave, to having intercourse with cadavers. It doesn't really show that progression. And then it does another weird thing where it's like, and I already heard this is what it did, so I was prepared for it. You know, halfway through, it starts showing the stories of some of the victims to humanize them. Starts showing, you know, his neighbor that kept calling the police and how she was ignored and how she felt afterwards and what she did. And the treatment of the gay community. You know, there's a lot of themes going on, but for the most part, it was too late by then because, like, you've seen this guy like kissing a severed head, stealing a mannequin so he could like dry hump it in his bed. There was just so much weird stuff going on that was like, which is just there for me and my girlfriend to go, "What?" Because that's what kept happening. It's like, "Oh my god, what's he doing now, man? This guy's crazy." You know, it was just full of trashy spectacle throughout the whole thing. You know, it's not the same as when you watch like Manhunter, Silence of the Lambs, you know, and there is some grotesque and there is a kind of spectacle in those films, but it has some depth and you do sort of understand, like, right, this is what a serial killer is all about. Because essentially you want to understand why a guy does what he does. Like, how do you get to this point? Like Ian Watkins from Lost Prophets. I just want to know, how the hell did he get to where he's at? You know, what is the process? What is the arc to get from I'm just a person who does things to I'm a person who does these things? Like, how the fuck do you get there, bruv? You know, I just want to know how you get there. You know, so maybe I can see the signs. Yo, conjures up in there. Hey yo, who? So you know, Dahmer, whatever. That kind of the stuff that pops off on Netflix that becomes sort of surprise hits is always like trashy business in it. Always like Tiger King. It's like Tiger King. Tiger King. I haven't really seen it, but like that's trashy. You know, that's about trashy people. You know, it's just a spectacle. It's just a lurid. It's lurid voyeurism. It's that's what pops off on Netflix. Just lurid shit. Now, all the way back to like, what was the one of the OG hits? It was like Making a Murderer. It's just lurid voyeurism, man. People just interested in weirdo business. You know, it's not necessarily, it's not good. It's compelling because it's weird, but it's not great. It's sort of, just, you know what I mean? There's not much more you can say that. You don't like, you can make, I would say this about the serial killer business. They've already done like great mafia films and there's been great mafia films and great serial killer films. You don't really, unless you got something new to bring to the table, something interesting, and you pull it off well, there's like no need for it. We've got Silence of the Lambs, we've got Seven, we've got Manhunter. Do you know what I mean? We've got the great serial killer films. Okay, there's a few others that are sort of, but those three, you've got the great, you know. Why are you doing something and not bringing anything new to the table? It's just like, oh, here's a man kissing a severed head. It's like, yeah, we've seen this kind of shit before. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's gross. Obviously, we get it. Can you do something new? Oh, we're going to show the point of view of the victims. Like, yeah, but after you've shown a man dry humping a mannequin and a severed head, it's a bit late for that. The girls like to watch it more than men. It's true. Yeah, that's true. And I said this to the missus yesterday. I was like, what is it with you hoes? That's exactly how I said it. What is it with you hoes? And you loving serial killers and things. What is that? Now, I got a friend, and I remember she once told me, she said, I just started like watching videos about serial killers, and I couldn't sleep. You know, like I couldn't sleep all night. I was like, what is wrong with you women? And then my missus was like, oh, I had trouble sleeping because, yeah, yeah. I guess at least in this story, he only killed men, which makes it a little bit different. You know, because a lot of the other serial killers either killed men and women or exclusively women, but there's not many that killed exclusively men. Might be wrong. But the classic serial killer is murdering women, you know, all the way back to Jack the Ripper, you know what I mean? But the women love him. This is why they write them saucy letters in prison. Like, hey, Jeffrey, I really like what you did with those heads. Can you do that to me? Like, this is what they write, you know. I mean, like, oh yeah, Jeffrey. You look under a teenage boy's bed, you'll find some pornography. Well, back in the day, you won't find it now. It's all digital. You look under a teenage girl's bed back in the day, you'd find like a weird serial killer erotic fan fiction. It's like, oh yeah. You're writing a letter to John Wayne Gacy. Dear Mr. Gacy. Oh, like Ed Gein. Dear Mr. Gein, can you wear me like a coat? Like, what's wrong with you, woman? Like, yo, what is wrong with you, man? The only difference is that I think men would only find if there was like some hot female serial killers, then we might, have a little crush on them just because they're hot, but not because they're serial killers. We're like, she is hot though. Like she's like a smoking 10. Because you're willing to put up with a lot of nonsense for a 10. Many men will. You put up a lot of nonsense for a 10. If she's a serial killer, probably. I don't know what percentage of men would put up with 30, 40%. Some desperate dudes out there. They'd be like, it's like, bro, I know she hot, but like, she decapitates the elderly on weekends. Yeah, but she's a 10. Men be crazy. Men be cray. I don't know why I've just started that. I don't want to do that. I want to do. I'm sure there are some Russian chicks, but we'll never know. Probably. I looked at who are the most prolific serial killers apart from Harold Shipman, because Harold Shipman done killed so many people. The top 5 of a number of bodies, the 3 of them are Colombian. 2 of them are like above 150 people. One of them almost 200 people. And this is in the last like 50 years. Like, what's going on in Colombia, man? And these ain't like cartel boys or anything. These are like proper straight up serial killers, killing and dismembering children and women. Not for drug money or nothing, just because they love murdering. Like, yo, Colombia, like, yo, what's up with Colombia? Like, what is up with Colombia? That's some crazy business. Go look it up. It's like real prolific serial killers in Colombia. I had no idea. There's another thing about Colombia that you didn't know. Every nation has their quirks. Colombia, cocaine, beautiful women, coffee, long-running civil war, serial killers. Interesting. Always nice to find out something new. Moving on to, and there's obviously, if you looked at the title, we've been talking about one problematic white man to another problematic white man, apparently, Kanye West, because apparently he's been abandoned by the black community. From what I've been reading on Black Twitter, I don't know. Apparently, he's been cast away. Like, he did an interview with Noriega. I haven't even had a chance to watch it. I'm sure someone will re-upload it somewhere, but like they took it down because Noriega, Nori, if you want to call him Nori, been mobbing around apologizing for what Kanye said. It's like, bruv, you put it out, man. Like, if you thought it was going to be a problem, then why put it out? What's this? I can understand why Coke and Coffee would do that to a woman. It's true. That's true. Don't be giving these ladies Coke and coffee. It's hard enough to shut them up as it is. Now, why are you Andrew Tate? But like, Kanye likes to speak his mind. I think the most of the problem, though, I don't think it's the stuff they talk about the Jews. I don't think that's the most problematic thing. I think it's literally the T-shirt that he wore. That's why people have a problem, which is just hilarious. Like Kanye really hates the Matrix. He is uncontrollable. He just says what he thinks and goes off on one. But it is just another example of like, you can't really speak your mind. He's broken no laws, and yet, is it JP Morgan Chase have banned his account? So yeah, you need to bank with someone else. Like, rah. These ECGC scores, or whatever the fuck they're called. This is serious business. Yeah, and you should know better than to go running your mouth about the Jewish community. They don't play. This is the thing. We're not going to go into what you should and shouldn't say about groups of people. Forget that. Let's talk about repercussions. You need to choose like there's certain groups like you should know from the moment. Like even if it's jokes, we've seen what's happened because of jokes, let alone saying what he's saying and what other people have said, like what Wiley said. It's like Nick Cannon. He's like, yo, you know what's going to happen. Like, how it goes. The Jewish community, like the Anti-Defamation League, they do not play. They do not play. They are serious. They're like Mumsnet on PCP. People think like, oh, don't go against Mumsnet. Next, these are the groups you don't mess with. Number 1, the Jewish community. 2, Mumsnet. 3, probably the American black community. Probably, I think it's probably number 3. I'd say. Is she gonna get? Because I know at the moment it's kind of the T and the LGBTQ plus Y XYZ, that seem to be, going full throttle. Cancel this, cancel this. This is sort of the biggest cultural war at the moment. But I don't think they have that clout. Like, there is a documentary called "What Is a Woman," but there isn't a documentary about similar, like, what is a black man or something like that. Do you know what I mean? What is a Jew? Like, nah, I don't think they got that much clout. So you got to, when these people start speaking, it's like, well, how this is going to play out, don't you? You've seen it time and time again how it plays out, and you still go and do it. It's like, because you think it's that important, fair enough. But if you don't think it's that important, then don't do it. But as I say, but Kanye will speak his mind, and that's kind of why people like him. But yeah, it's just one thing I say about him, and I know what it's like, just to be dismissed as being crazy. Like, he don't like that. He don't like being dismissed as crazy. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of the point, because people will let it slide, or people will give him a pass because they go, oh, he's just crazy. When the guys out there go, nah, I'm done with that. It seems like he doesn't want to use that shield, which, at one point, that would be a wise thing to do. It's like, if you're not on some sort of crusade, but you like to say crazy stuff, saying, I am crazy, though. I'm nuts. I'm a bloody loon, ain't I? No, it's good shield. Good deflection. Ping! What'd you say about me? Ping! Nah, I'm crazy. However, he's now done with the whole crazy narrative. It's like, no, I'm not crazy. All right. And now he's going to buy Parler. What is going on? Buy Parler. That is quite crazy. I would say buy Parler, because Parler is rubbish. Like, I'm always interested in new platforms. When I look at Rumble, I'm like, and I'll get into that in a second. I'm like, okay, Rumble. But I'm always looking for any outlets. I don't care about the political affiliations or whatever. Like, I'm on Gab. I don't know. Like, Gab is just full of so much Christian stuff on there, like hardline. I don't care. I just want I want alternatives to like what we do have, because a lot of them are, it's not just the ideological thing. It's also the way the algorithms and just what pops off on it. There's many different reasons why I don't like certain platforms, but you just got to spread yourself out a bit, and get a bit of reach. So I got on Parler. I think when you post something, it's called a parlay. Or is Parler called parlay? I can't remember. But it's just like, all right, so what is this? Free speech Twitter, or is it right wing Twitter? What is it? You know, it's just it's like because you also the free the free speech alternatives that they label themselves as are like, you know, not great. Not great. Gab's its own thing, you know. Truth Social, Getter. Well, people just pooed all over Getter as soon as it came out because, like, the CEO says some nonsense stuff. I was like, whatever. I don't even know. Haven't bothered. I just haven't bothered with it. You know, I thought I would focus more on exploring Web3 startups. You know, blockchain, because there's plenty of those. I don't need to be like drifting over to, hi, I'm Mr. Free Speech Man. Come to my platform. It's exactly the same as Twitter. It's like, it's the same as Twitter, but you can just say more. Like, plenty of people can say what the hell they like. It just depends on whether you get on the radar or something. YouTube's the problem. Like, Twitch is also a problem. These places are more problematic than Twitter, I would say. Twitter just has this bigger problem going on where it's just way too influential. And yet it's made up of a certain type of person. It's not a very, I keep saying this, but it's too often media outlets and journalism as a whole, journalists look to Twitter to see where the wind is blowing. But it's like, this is not a good data slice of people. You know, you wouldn't use this as good data for anything. You just say, this is what Twitter thinks, not what the world thinks. But it just has too much influence in that regard. Like, it's not a very good slice of humanity. It's very particular. So that's the problem with Twitter, really. That is the problem with it. So it just depends on what happens, you know, if you get away with stuff or not. But Parler, I don't even like the logo, man. I like Parler. I'm just like, oh, Parler. Fair enough if he wants to buy Parler and probably come cheap, you know. But I don't think. Maybe you could be wrong though, because some things ended up popping off that you just never thought they would. You know, people poo-pooed Amazon in the beginning. Now look at it. It's the evil overlord that we were warned about in 80s sci-fi movies. It's Amazon, well, Google as well, but like Amazon. You know, people were like, Amazon, and some people thought MySpace would be around forever. You know, Soldier Boy came up on MySpace. We're like, well, Soldier Boy, MySpace cannot fail. It did. So you never know. But like Parler, come on, please, just have Elon Musk buy Twitter and make it into what he wants to make it, and then all problems are solved. They don't need no Parler, because then literally you don't need Parler, and you don't need Truth Social, and you don't need Getter. Like, these can go away. Gab is its own thing. Minds is kind of its own thing, because it's a bit different. You know, but you know, if Elon finally, is it secured yet? Is the deal going through yet? But I'm sure it's going to happen. It's just a very public negotiation. That's what it seems to be. But you know, once that pops off, right, what's the point in having Parler? You know, so you can just have a right-wing Twitter. It's like, he bought Parler like he owed it to Candace Owens. I mean, it's fine. You know, buy Parler if you want, but like I said, I don't think there's going to be any point in it at some point, which is different to Rumble. My conclusion about Rumble, when Rumble first popped up, I was like, well, here's another one, another alternative platform that is doomed to fail. You know, I was like, yeah, we've seen this story before. You know, BitChute, cool. but BitChute has become BitChute. Like BitChute is its own thing. All the nutter stuff that used to be fun on YouTube is on BitChute. It's not somewhere where you could make creative stuff. Let's say you wanted to be making stuff that they made on YouTube like 5 years ago or so, like Filthy Frank or something like that. Well, there's no way you're going to pop off on YouTube doing that kind of business anymore. And that stuff's not going to pop off on BitChute now, because BitChute is just the loony land. It is. It's fun, and it's good that there's a place for that stuff to be, because it's not all complete nonsense, but there's a hell of a lot of it there. And like I said, all that stuff used to be on YouTube, and it used to be hilarious, very entertaining. Like these 5-hour Illuminati documentaries made out of just out of context clips, like Macaulay Culkin looking at a fish and go, "Here, can you see the eye of Sauron?" And like, it'd be like that. But it was hella entertaining. My God, it was fun. So much fun. Like, that's, we don't need people to regulate what we consume, because most of us can go, "That's crazy." It's funny, It was like, so BitChute's kind of like Worldstar Hip Hop. It's like, here's crazy land. Go explore it. But but as far as edgy content goes, there's no place for that. And this is kind of a good thing, that the more and more YouTube's just become impossible. So the more and more constrictive YouTubers have become, especially over the last couple of years, a lot of people have gone to Rumble, and it's now starting to carve out I can see it carving out its own lane that I think will be good. And I think this is the way things might go. Because I tell you, the banning of Andrew Tate was one of the best things that could have happened. Because he went to Rumble, and Rumble stars shut up. The fact that Russell Brand has had problems with YouTube, and he's gone over to Rumble. Glenn Greenwald is exclusively doing stuff on Rumble. These are people who are speaking their minds unfiltered and challenging power, and they've gone over to Rumble. So what does this mean? It means, because there's certain stuff that you just can't do on YouTube anymore. But it's not like it's going to take over YouTube. It's carving its own lane. It's actually got stuff to offer that YouTube doesn't. Whereas Parler, well, no, but this is what I'm saying. This is why BitChute pops off. It's offering something that YouTube doesn't. But now Rumble's offering something slightly different, because obviously the line is the gap is getting smaller and smaller about what you can and can't do. And this is why the good that you've got Rumble, because you can instantly start earning off Rumble. It's easier to upload than BitChute is as well, because BitChute is just problematic all the time. This is why I don't rate. My BitChute uploading is. There's also Odyssey, by the way. There is Odyssey, and I do like Odyssey. Shout outs to my Odyssey subs. Love you. But look at this. Patreon is good. No, it's not. No. Patreon just ban people for no reason. Nah, there's sod Patreon, man. Nah. Patreon's dead. Sod Patreon. Patreon's not even an option. Now, what do you need Patreon for? You just build a website and take payments on it, as I have. Like, you can still find my Patreon, but like, no, don't bother. I just haven't deleted it. Just build a website, mate. Don't need Patreon. What was I saying? So, YouTube isn't going to be blown out the water just yet, but you think about YouTube like this, it is just the mainstream. So if you want to find your music videos, mainstream news, just regular talking stuff, silly vlogs, stuff like that, whatever, YouTube is still the second biggest search engine. So YouTube is a place for you to go. I want to learn, like when I'm making music, I want to how do I sidechain a snare? Well, you go on YouTube and you'll find a great video that'll explain it. Or you're doing business, it's like, how do I do LinkedIn marketing? Well, you go on YouTube and you find some informative stuff. You want to do a tutorial on how to code in a programming language? There'll be a free one on YouTube. That'll be very good. Great stuff on YouTube. And that's what it's for. It's like a utility. It's like it's a regular place You know. Whereas Rumble, now you say, I want certain kinds of comedy. You're not going to find it on. It's YouTube is dead for that. It's dead for that. I want to find uncensored, open, honest discussion. Rumble. I think Rumble is the place where you can pop off doing content aimed at people who can think, also adult content, and get monetized. Because doing sort of more adult content that YouTube thinks is problematic, you can't make money off it. Like, I done one video, videos, Reefer Madness, just a jokey thing about like weed in Thailand. It's age restricted, which means it's totally restricted. And there must be weed channels out there. There's channels out there devoted to weed. How they, without, that's just not a way forward from it. Look at UK Drill, how that was kicked off of YouTube by the request of the government. Where's that? They had to go over Pornhub. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yo, find me on Pornhub. Like, that's not a place to look for music, is Pornhub. But Rumble, yeah, you can go over there. I'm seeing it like that. YouTube is be just a place for where you can get simple content, but stuff that's deemed a bit edgy and a bit YouTube can be like the BBC or ITV or NBC or ABC, whatever you like. Rumble can become like HBO. That's what I'm saying. Because people used to get HBO, whatever the UK alternatives is, don't know. But in America, you'd have HBO and Showtime and stuff, and people get HBO because there's certain things you can say on HBO that you can't say on network television. Right? There's certain things you can show, you can't show. You couldn't show sex, you couldn't show graphic violence, you can have this kind of swearing or these sort of themes. But on HBO and the likes, on cable television, pay, subscription-based cable channels, you could show whatever the fuck you wanted. And they did. Okay. Same as why people went from network radio onto satellite radio, because they were beyond the reach of certain governing bodies. You could do whatever you like. People got HBO because you could get that edgy entertainment. You could get The Sopranos. You could get Curb Your Enthusiasm. You could get shows like Dream On and Oz, which was crazy. You never seen anything on TV like Oz before. Do you know what I mean? Like Oz, I remember the scene of the guy says, "Blow me." I was like, what is this show? There's men blowing each other in prison. This is crazy. Do you know what I mean? But only on HBO you could be seeing this kind of stuff. And then, Showtime came along and FX and blah, 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 blah. And the rest is history. Totally revolutionized television. Rumble could do the same thing. You got YouTube. This is the mainstream. This is everyday. But go over to Rumble for that ting. For the tings. This is a possibility. That's why I find it quite exciting. Because you have a choice. I like this kind of thing. Where do I find that? Well, you don't find it. You don't find it on YouTube. Well, you do find some stuff, but they have to walk a line. Whereas on Rumble, don't have to walk any line, man. No, just don't go around calling for the death of groups of people, and you're fine. Just regular stuff. So I think that's a path that's very possible and very exciting. What's this? Mint comedy allows uncensored edgy. I'm assuming you're saying edgy shit. What the hell is mint comedy? What is that? I see. What is this? All shows. Oh yeah, but this is like their own thing, isn't it? Right, I get it. Okay. Yeah, but this is like someone's own website. These are branded things. We're talking about a bigger network type situation. Because, I can put stuff on my own website, which I do, which I don't care about what I say, and I've been hit by the YouTube censors twice in a month. I got a strike for making jokes about something that rhymes with axine. See what I'm saying? You have to. I hate watching YouTube videos when they're going, "Oh, the R word," and this does, the bad people in World War II because they can't say certain words because they get it flags them on the algorithm and hurts their business. It's like, bruv, like, allow that, man. You know what I mean? I'll make certain content and put it on there, but the stuff where I want to do what I want to do, it's not going on there. I'll put a clip on there with a link, say, go over here to watch this, but I ain't, do you know what I mean? If I'm making content that doesn't need to be censored, I won't censor it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm doing stuff that needs to be censored, then I ain't putting it there. You can find it somewhere else. Okay. It's just, all these, I look at everything as the same. If I certain videos, I'll put them on Instagram full length, the same as I put them on Facebook full length. I'll put it on YouTube full length. The only reason I wouldn't put full length on certain platforms because it doesn't allow you to. Voila, it's simple. It's as simple as that. It's just it's all the same. I'm not interested in making child-friendly content, and a lot of people aren't. Because essentially that's what YouTube is. I'm not Mr. Beast. I am not, J Station. Child-friendly. I'm just not doing that kind of thing. It's just I'm not interested in doing that. Like, why the hell would I do that? Do you know what I mean? I'm not interested in it. So yeah, I think the more restrictive things have become, the more people have got fed up with it, and people are more open to alternative platforms, and there's more and more people doing their own websites. People have gone back to doing their own websites again. So many people doing this and doing pay models and exclusive stuff. A lot of people are doing this, big people too. And, this is why I started the new website like a couple of years ago now, because I was like, this is the way to go. You don't need to use Patreon or Subscribestar or whatever. You can have, like, there's plenty of plugins and ways to do it on your own website. And a WordPress site, it's simple. You can do it on Shopify. Whichever way you want it. There's loads of different ways of doing it. I got 3 tiers. One's free, it's paid. I did this before. I've barely got that many subscribers to be doing this kind of thing, but I set it up before because I was like, this is the way forward. And I'm glad I put in the time. It does need some improvements, mind. That's right. But I'm glad I put in the time because I've seen the way it's been going, and more people are doing it. They're like, yeah, no, I can have full control, and it's great. It's very good. It's very exciting. Yeah, comics are releasing their own specials on their own website. Louis C.K. has all this shit on his site. Yeah, exactly. He's a guy. I watched an interview with him, and he knew very like so long ago, taking people's email addresses, how important that was to get hold of people's emails. Fantastic. Chameleonaire. This is the thing. Way back in the mid 2000s, when Chameleonaire popped off, remember? Catch Me Riding Dirty. Chameleonaire, right? He had his own website with his own forum. He collected everyone's emails. He built up the whole business model. Like, no one was doing that shit back then. No music artist. Like, he knew how important it was to have direct contact with the fans and to, like, he could sell his own tickets to his own fans. That's what I'm saying. Like, have your own shit on your own thing and sell directly to them. I had stuff on Spreadshirt, and you only make like £2-3 for something that costs about 20. Someone paid £25, and I get about £2 or £3. Do it directly through your website with Printful. Someone pays £25, I get more than half. Okay, covers your overheads, everything, and you make profit. Do you know what I mean? There's so many better ways of doing it than just doing it for these douchebag companies, who essentially will just bin you off when if they feel like it, if they got a problem with you. Do you know what I mean? And I would say, and we're going in the right direction. And other steps to take is just full blockchain implementation. Yeah, blockchain, bro. Yeah, and crypto payments. That's it. Then you can cut out everybody. This is what I'm pushing for, and what other people should be pushing for. We're heading in the right direction. Cut out every horrible person, all these people that just, just poo on people all the time. Cut them all out, and there's just you and the people that like you. That's it. And anyone else doing any other thing are working for you directly. You employ people to do it. You use some silly service. Obviously, then we need to get around hosting, but you can create your own service. There's many. Blockchain eliminates all that crap anyway. Blockchain. It's true though. This is why, when I learned more about it, I was like, oh, this is it. This is how it gets. This is how we get things done. Good. Finally, we've got some bloody solutions to these bloody problems. You know what I'm saying? Fantastic. What's going on here? Hold on. Great. This message was deleted. Well, why send it? Why even send it if you're going to delete it? So all that stuff's bloody cool. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought there. So, there is much hope. It's good stuff. There's one other thing I just wanted to mention. I've forgotten what it was. That's useful, isn't it? No, I forgot. Oh, yeah, Ebola's back. That was it, yeah. Ebola's back. They really want another pandemic. They're so gagging for it. Nuclear war isn't enough. No one cares about nuclear war, it seems. People actually seem to want it. They're like, yeah, nuclear war, yeah, get them. Why aren't people afraid of nuclear war? Oh, no. So, monkeypox didn't work. And they're like, oh, Ebola? Hi, Ebola. All the usual fearmongers on social media are hyping Ebola right up, going, Ebola's here. If anyone's transited through Heathrow, he's probably got Ebola. Like, literally, this is what I saw earlier. People talking about Ebola. I didn't say that. That's what people on Twitter are saying. Idiots. And it's like, what are you talking about? No one's got Ebola. And, well, some people have got Ebola, but Ebola is yeah, Ebola never went away, by the way. Swine flu never went away. None of this stuff actually just disappears. Like I said, it only reappears when the media are bored. And they've been very bored since Omicron came along. They were like, oh, God, what do we do now? And there's so much stuff keeps coming out that's made everyone go, oh. So well, what about Ebola? Remember Ebola? That was pretty scary. And Ebola is proper serious. This isn't a joke thing, like some things. Ebola's pretty serious, but it doesn't spread as much, from what I understand it, because it kills too many people. This is the problem with these viruses. In order for them to survive, they need people to survive as well, because that's how they live, because we live, so they can get spread around. Whereas Ebola, same with MERS, really, really high risk of death in comparison to other things. Not mentally high, but high enough for you to go, oh. Do you know what I mean? If Ebola was really transmissible, as COVID-19 is, you'd be like, nah. You'd be like, nah. Then it'd be serious, but it's not. It's not as transmissible as COVID-19. but it is more dangerous. It's a deadly virus, Ebola. But we've been through the Ebola scare. You know, I remember like one woman got it in America, and then everyone stopped talking about it because something else happened. They're like, oh, let's talk about that now. They're gagging. There's some people get so excited when they hear about a new thing. They're like, oh, a new thing to be scared of. Like, and then they just want everyone else to be scared. It's like, yeah, Ebola. We know about Ebola. It's named after the river. Like, it never went away. Yeah. Huh, have you heard about Ebola? Yeah, we have. I don't think it's going to spread outside of Uganda less than Peter wants it to. Exactly. So exactly. Exactly. Of course. You know, there's stuff going on and they need a new story. You know, think about a year ago when it was about a year ago when Omicron popped off, isn't it? Or when we started hearing about it, it was about a year ago. And it totally changed. It totally changed everything when that came along. A big game changer. That was. So we've had, you know, and it was around when the wave died down, which was in the early part of this year. That's kind of when everything just started opening up in the, you know, and everyone just went, enough already. And people started to move on. There's some people just don't want to move on. They just don't want it. They don't want things to go back to normal. But, you know, post pandemic, if you like to say, you know, being in Vietnam for a month and how crazy it was just a year ago, how crazy it was there. The lockdowns. You don't even know what a lockdown is. Like people in Vietnam and China and probably Australia from what I heard, they know. Like it ain't the same as like in other countries, but like yeah, it was fearsome. You couldn't even walk out your front door at one point. And that's a week after I left. It got to that stage and I knew that was coming. So I was like, yeah, it's time to go. This is getting too mad. You know, I could walk to the end of the street. Obviously I went a bit further because I'm a rebel, when I but then it was like they shut everything was closed, shops, everything, and you couldn't go out your front door for a week. And I think that I'm not sure how that was the initial thing, and then I don't know how long that lasted for. Anyway, that's how hardcore it was there. You know, so 3 weeks in Da Nang, a week in Hanoi, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know COVID happened. You wouldn't. Everything's back to normal. You know, people want to get on with it. Same in Thailand, they're just getting on with it. Just getting on with it. We were in the taxi yesterday. My missus got this right cough on. She has. I'm slightly concerned why she's got a cough. She doesn't smoke and she hasn't got COVID. So I was like, why you got a cough? And I haven't got a cough and I've been with her for days. So I don't know what's going on. I'm a bit concerned about that. But anyway, she was, you know, coughing and spluttering in the car, no mask on, and the driver was fine. You know, if that had been like even 6 months ago, they'd be like, probably would have thrown you out the car. Now, like, yeah. So India, Korea, Singapore handled it pretty well. Pretty well. I don't know if they did it, did they? Singapore went hardcore, so I don't know how handled it well. Korea got a hold of certain countries, made certain decisions early on that were better, you know, for sure. But you know, there's no point talking about that business. You know, we're done. We're done. Some people just refuse to be done with it. Is the point? They refuse to move on. And they want everyone to be feeling how they're feeling. And it's like, no thanks. You know, no thank you. You know, do I want to catch it again? Not really. But say la vie. What will be, will be. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. You know, if whatever. Let's just have a party, man. The I Love Life party. That's what we're all about. We're loving life again. Good times, bro. Good times. So yeah, that was that. As just a few little points I want to talk about. There's plenty of other things to go over, but that'll be for another day, another dollar. Because I didn't get on stream at all. I've been very slack the last couple of weeks, and at the weekend I didn't do it at all because obviously Mrs. wanted to just binge watch nonsense on this very big TV. You know, that's what she wanted to do. She's got a Netflix addiction. It's a serious problem. We're gonna have to sort her out. Chicks and Netflix, man. Did we Netflix and chill? Yes, at one point. So that was all right. But she's my missus. I don't really need to do that kind of thing, do I? So yeah, those are little things I just wanted to touch on. I'll be coming back on in the next couple of days. There's a couple of little things that are going to be published later on YouTube's and all the other platforms. Give those a little look. Just some funny little things that I did. Have a look. There is one video that's only on Rumble, so you might want to go check that one out if you like. So I can say what the hell I want. But yeah, and I've gone back to my old hosting provider for the website. Okay, I had to downgrade a year ago because financial situation wasn't great. Okay, there was a bump in the road. The industry I was working in was completely taken away by the Chinese government. That's just, I've been through that before. Never mind. We're back in business. And so I've moved it back to the old host, which has got way better upload speed. Basically, it loads up a lot quicker. It's way better. The customer service side I always found to be better with the other host, but like the performance, not very good. And in the end, because this is the thing with these companies, the first year plan is always really cheap, and then when you renew, it just gets more expensive. And their renewal was it cost just as much as the other guys. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, why would you do that? It was all right for the first year because it was incredibly cheap. It was so cheap. And I was like, I just need to do that. I need some breathing space. But now we're back in business, baby. So, which is great. The website's performing a lot better. Even the back end as well. Like the back end. Like going into, the admin on WordPress is quicker. Which I always found very surprising is how slow it was with the other provider. And it would take me like twice as long to get anything done on the website. Like ridiculously bad, I won't name the hosting service who provides. I don't want to do that. But we're no longer with them, so everything's hunky-dory. Just wanted to get that out there. Go try it out for yourself. PlanetRebus.com. It's working a dream. Might have. I need to recheck it though, because transferring to new hosts always brings up some sort of issue that needs to be ironed out. But for the most part, everything's fine. So I just wanted to drop that one in there. I'll see you when I see you. Big up Conjured. Always good to have the mans in the chat. You know what I'm saying? We'll be going back to a more regular schedule this week and having a right good time with it. So I'll see you later. Take